Hey guys, and welcome to the latest SleepyTalk podcast. Finally, I've managed to get these two on at the same time. So today I'm joined by Jordan and Ryan. They both know where Nottingham is on the map, and that's about all they have in common. So hope you have fun, and do you want to introduce yourself, guys?
Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Jordan, as you heard.
Wow, I was expecting Ryan to plug his e-juice as usual, but never mind.
I think by now, yeah.
You've missed it. It's done. Maybe later I might give you a shot. But
Thank you.
Today our topic is sleep paralysis demons. Ooh, spooky wooky. So I've been wanting to make this podcast for quite some time now. I know that with Jordan we talked about it, and with Ryan we've talked about it on multiple podcasts, but we've never had one specifically. I don't know where I was going with that sentence.
Yeah, keep going. You're getting there.
Keep going. Yeah. No, that's not getting edited out. So we've never had one specific to this subject. So I know in myself I've had quite a few spooky wooky experiences with, by the way, spooky wooky is trademarked now, with awesome. Sleep paralysis, sleep paralysis in general, not just demons or things like that. I know Jordan has. Ryan, you mentioned something about understanding it, or maybe have gone through it. Yeah. So first off, everybody's heard my story, so I'll leave it until last. And so Jordan, why don't you take it away and tell us all about your spooky wooky sleep paralysis?
So my spooky wooky, which is obviously trademarked now, as you've said, experience with sleep paralysis. So I've had it, from what I remember, two occasions where I've had it. I think one I talked about last time, but I'll talk about it again. When I lived in my old flat, went to bed one day, as you usually do. You need to, get some rest and get some recuperation and stuff like that. I can't remember how the day exactly went, but I know it was quite stressful, and it completely wore me out. I must have watched something before going to bed, because otherwise, why the hell would I have seen what I saw? But went to bed. Next minute I know, eyes wide open, can't move, just completely just stiff. My head was
you were stiff.
Yes, I was absolutely stiff. I was completely hard about the entire situation.
Sounded like you had a throbbing headache as well.
In more places than one, my friend.
Great.
Yeah, so the only thing I could move was my head. So I looked up and I could see a shadowy figure at the end of my bed. Then I blinked, and suddenly a loud scream, and it just right in my face. And then I kind of woke up at that point. It's like completely just sweating profusely, and just couldn't really control myself. It's like shaking. Like I just couldn't explain exactly what happened. So that was that experience.
So just capping on that. Yes, I'm taking control now. No, so you said you looked up and you saw a figure.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you saw something screaming in your face.
Yeah.
And then you woke up. Did you wake up, or could you move, or did you?
It was like a blink. It's like a blink, So as it's screaming, it's like you're staring at this thing screaming in your face. It was very surreal, It was like the room was exactly how it was, and all that stuff. Just obviously, this shadowy figure was completely misplaced, and obviously I couldn't move my body. After it screamed in my face, I blinked, and then I could move again. Woke up, heavy breathing, as I say, sweating profusely and stuff like that. So I've never actually experienced it again after that. It was just like a one-time. Well, obviously the second time I've had it, but not since. So it's just a bit strange, really.
Go on then, do the second one then.
The second one.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
Right. Okay. So the second one, then I was really young, probably about 6 or 7, I think. sleeping in bed, and this was a time when I had a TV, like a really small CRT, kind of like at the end of the bed. So went to sleep again, not exactly sure what happened, but woke up and it was like lasers over my eyes, and then I could still move my head, but it felt like really hot. I just got I remember a sensation of being really hot. Turned my head and the TV turned itself on, and just like the static, the old channels. So it was just a static showing on there, and it kind of felt like being pulled in, but I couldn't move or anything like that. Felt like being pulled towards it, and then I just woke up after that. But it's again that feeling. It's like surreal feeling of the whole room was exactly how it should be. It's just obviously lasers in front of my eyes and a TV that turned itself on for no apparent reason. So yeah, that's my two experiences with sleep paralysis. Probably one of them's more demon-like, but I think having a TV suddenly turn on when you're 6 years old and laser beams in front of your eyes probably isn't the most thing you want to see when you're trying to get some sleep.
Your parents
Not when you're trying to get some sleep, no. In the middle of the day at 6 years old, laser beams, cool as hell. But in that situation, no.
You got anything to add on that, Ryan?
Well, I mean, I don't know if mine are. I think I mentioned this before. If it's like experiences or anything, but it's only after you mentioned it previously. I'm like, well, I've had something similar to that. It's quite a common thing, to be honest with you. It's almost in just like I've accepted it as how I wake up. It's like a quirk. And for the first time you've mentioned in yours, you were sweating profusely. Like that is a common problem. Not common, it's a problem of mine that occurs quite commonly, especially when I'm struggling to not sleep but wake up. And I find it hard to fall asleep when I feel like this, but it's a whole bringing in demons that makes it interesting to me now. Because so I'll go to sleep, and quite not a lot, but sometimes it's almost like I'm in I'm conscious but in a dream state.
Yeah.
And in that period, I'm trying to wake up. It was almost distressing as a kid, but now it's just something like I just almost recognize. But then I eventually do wake up. But from what you guys have expressed on this before, I'm thinking maybe I am actually awake in that sort of like dreamlike state, and I am actually trying to wake up, and it's when and then I just do. But up until hearing you guys talk about it, I was like, that's just me just trying to that's a weird thing that my mind does, when I'm about to wake up. But when I'm in that dreamlike state, the difference is like I don't recognize that I'm laying in like literally like just soaked to the sheets. It's only when I'm actually awake and I know I'm conscious, I realize that I'm dripping with sweat. And I'm freezing cold because I've chucked the covers off, but I'm still dripping with sweat. Annoys the partner sometimes because it means got to change the bedding because it's soaked into the quilts and everything. Yeah. It's madness. And then you guys mentioned, obviously I'm quite new to the spooky wiki thing, and I'm like that could be one of you mentioned sleep paralysis demons. Whenever it's only whenever I'm at the flat, so I'm not at the partner's house, there is an odd presence involved in that sort of dreamlike state. But it's never like you've mentioned, like Jord mentioned, it came at you, or a lot of people talk about like the demons screaming in their face and then they wake up. It's nothing like that. It's just I feel like there's an odd presence there, but I feel there's an odd presence there when I'm falling to sleep as well, not when I'm waking up as well. So I'm just like, when you go to sleep by yourself, and it's a different sort of experience to falling asleep in a house where there's other people. I feel anyway, for me personally, and maybe then I'm a bit more sensitive to spooky wookies.
Trademark.
Yeah, trademark. I'm part of that trademark. I'm gonna have to use it. But yeah, so that's so my potential experiences I wouldn't have even considered as experiences until listening to one of your podcasts.
So, do you
I'm
think
still trying to
potentially
learn about it.
do you think potentially you're attaching our experiences to your experience, or do you genuinely think
This
it
is the problem, isn't
intertwining?
it? So I'm listening to more of these things, and I'm gonna do a bit of research into it, because you say sleep paralysis, that sounds like a medical type of thing, and then a sleep paralysis demon, you're like, wait a second, am I just looking for this to be that spooky wooky thing that I can finally connect with, because I have a sleep paralysis demon. I don't even know if it means I have one, or if it's just demons in general, or if I've got a personal demon that likes to mess with me while I'm sleeping. I don't know. But just typing sleep paralysis into Google, like, most of the stuff comes up. I just typed it into Wikipedia, and it shows an image of the demon. I'm like, oh, so it's more of a spooky wooky thing than a scientific thing then.
It is a natural phenomenon. It is something that occurs and is very, very common. I know a lot of people who don't believe in any spooky wooky things, who have gone through similar things, and it's amazing how similar the stories are as well.
That's what always gets me.
Yeah, it's again, it's a naturally occurring thing, and like you said, when you're alone, your senses are heightened. You kind of have some sort of natural instinct that something else might be watching you. Is that just because it's something from our ancestors that's been passed down? Some sort of natural fight or flight system where
because I mean, safety in numbers.
Yeah.
So because for me, I don't get that feeling when I'm at Nats when the kids are there and whatnot. I don't get any of that sort of
exactly.
What is that in the darkness type feeling at all.
It's like checking under your bed for monsters, or not having your feet hanging over the edge, or making sure your feet are covered up so nothing grabs you off. I mean,
or maybe it's because I know that I could probably get out of there before they would, if there was any spooky wooky about.
Chivalrous as always. Chivalrous as always. So yeah, again though, it's incredible to see that there's so many different stories, but they're all so similar. And it's not like you, but sorry, I say it's not like you, but it could be like I'm sort of questioning you on at the minute. Are you not just associating your experience with ours and it clicks just because it makes sense?
Well, to be fair, the problem with the sweating, it can be extremely excessive. It's something I've been to the doctors about, and I've had all sorts of. There was at points where I'm coating my body in aloe vera. You know me, I had to go down the natural route before the medicinal, before the Western medicinal. I would coat my body in aloe vera because apparently that's can help with sweating and whatnot. And then I'm using these deodorants that like burn and stuff all over my body before I go to bed, and that's not really helping. And I just thought, you know what? Some people just sweat loads. I don't know. I put a lot of toxins in my body. Maybe it's just getting rid of them while I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
But I fixate on the sweating element now because it's the first time that I even knew that could be part of it. But it is quite a lot of the time. I struggle to get up. It's like I'm awake. I feel like I'm conscious and I want to get up, but for some reason I just can't. And it's been happening for that long that I've just accepted that, okay, right, I just got to wait for this period to be over now. There's no sort of, not terror, but there isn't any sort of like what's going on in this about it. I'm sort of over that now, but maybe I've just gotten used to having this sleep paralysis demon guy about, like, boom.
But I didn't mean you as in specifically you. What I meant is that like somebody hears the story of, let's say there's a creature or something like that, and all of a sudden your brain kind of connects dots and then, oh, it must be that. You know how?
To
Yeah,
stop
I was
yourself
after
going
that.
insane.
Yeah, we've had the discussion on sort of, you know, the frauds in psychics and things where they pick up on a colour of some sort and they ask generic questions that could fit pretty much most people's walk of life, and then these people who are desperate sort of make connections in their head and like, oh my god, they're right. I'm not saying that I am an expert in psychics or psychical communities. There could well be psychics out there or spiritualists out there that can do some amazing things, and it's just a forgotten art. But there is definitely frauds out there. There are definitely people that prey on unsuspecting victims, and it's the same concept as maybe
cults develop.
Yeah, maybe our experience is similar to yours, but not
to make sense
concrete.
of it. Yeah, I don't want my.
Yeah,
it's sort of like I'm aware that my brain might just like latch onto it for the sake of sanity. And because of that, it might also cause me to reject it, even though it could genuinely be what's going on.
Think about this. So, obviously, think about the film Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Obviously, Freddy Krueger invading your dreams, all that kind of crap.
That's copyright and trademark, by the way. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, as I say, it's a Nightmare on First Street. Then we'll go with that. So imagine when that first came out. No one's seen anything like that before. Obviously, horror existed, but no one's seen anything like that before. Invading your dreams, stuff like that. Imagine a kid watching that, and imagine the nightmares and stuff they would have as a result of seeing that film. And maybe they might experience sleep paralysis in that sense, where they see, some clawed figure trying to, get at them. And then that might be what their experience is with that entire thing. So I think it's sleep paralysis itself is, the mind being hyperactive in a sense. So you're thinking like, oh, I'm in a dark room, right? I've got to be alert. It's like those memes going around as well, where, you're trying to get some sleep and suddenly your brain goes like, oh, have you thought about this? And you can't get sleep after that. So I think it's a similar type of experience to that, just your mind just creating things out of thin air and then scaring the crap out of you so much that you can't get to sleep again afterwards.
I think the common theme with sleep paralysis is high stress levels. So for me, and I'll move on to sort of my experience with it. Everybody that's probably listening to me now that has listened to me before has heard the story. I wrote a creepypasta on it. I'll plug that here. But
advertisements.
Free advertising. But there'll be an annotation either at the end of the video, or if I can find this segment, I'll pop it in the top left corner, maybe bottom left. I might trick you. But
middle spin.
So with mine, I was going through some seriously high levels of stress, like going still off the creepypasta because it is a true story. I've just written it very well. Spooky Wookie
trademark.
Trademark.
Copyright 1907 2020. So we're I was going through a really stressful time with an ex-partner of mine. I was paranoid, and just to put it in a spoiler alert, I was correct in being paranoid, and my brain was telling me the right things. Well, my gut was. But anyway, I was stressed because I thought she was cheating on me. But technically it's classed as an affair because it was the same person for a long period of time. But I was having internal conflicts with myself, calling myself an idiot, saying that I'm paranoid and nothing's going on, with the other side saying, well, hang on a minute, she's not been smart in what she's been doing, and there's plenty of signs. The sort of thing where I think my ego and masculinity sort of overshadowed my intellect on it. I knew full well that what I knew was right, whereas my ego couldn't take it. and that was the internal battle that I had. So I was highly stressed. I was getting ill quite a lot from it. And I started going through sleep paralysis. Every single morning I would go through it. And eventually, just like in Kill Bill, where, you know, she's paralyzed and she starts wiggling her little toe.
Yeah,
I started trying to do that, but with my eyelids.
Okay.
I could hear static noise in my ear, or blood pressure, or, you know, when everything's silent around you.
Yeah, definitely.
You can hear your heartbeat. You can hear every breath that you take.
Mm.
I feel like I'm doing some sort of song. I'll be watching you.
I'll be watching you from the darkness. Anyway, carry on.
So your senses go internal, and you
song.
can only pick up what's going off inside your mind or inside your body. And just
Exactly.
block out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you put your head under the water in a bath, you can hear your heartbeat. You can, you know. So it was very specific what I was hearing, but I could hear. The only way I can really justify what I was hearing was probably the blood pressure in my ears. So the blood flowing because I was waking up, but I wasn't fully awake. My brain was engaged, but my body wasn't. Eventually I managed to open my eyes, and when I opened my eyes the first time, I saw a figure.
Right.
A shadow. It wasn't at the bottom of my bed, it was in the corner of my room. The next night, I saw the shadow closer.
Okay.
The next night after that, I saw it at the bottom of my bed, and then the next night after that, there was no sort of interlude on it. It wasn't like slowly crawling up the bed every time I opened my eyes. It was on top of my... What the hell was that?
Sorry, I am sorry. That was my
chair.
chair.
Slam.
I was so into this.
I am sorry. It scared me a little bit, and I knew what it was.
A scary time.
Yeah, that was just my chair.
All right. So yeah, there wasn't some sort of interlude where it was slowly going up my bed or whatever. The fourth or fifth night, it was on my chest, and I could hardly breathe. And it wasn't. Was it screaming? I had that much blood pressure going through my ears. That's all I could hear. But it was really dark. But it's the eyes that scared me. There was just nothing there. Like a black hole. It was just absent of anything. It was just so black. It was, and I don't know whether it's something that I've read or whether it was something that, you know, at this point in my life, though, I wasn't into creepypastas. I wasn't into anything sort of scary. I'd watched like the odd Most Haunted and things like that, but I wasn't massively into the whole supernatural side of things.
Yeah.
And it was just the absence of light that got me, and the eyes were locked in on mine. And that terrified me. And I don't know whether I passed out or what, but I woke up and it was light and there was nothing on me, and I was terrified, like absolutely bricking it. Surprisingly, Jordan, around the same time as the video that I sent you.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And Ryan.
So that one with the wardrobe door.
Yeah, surprisingly, but I don't think they're related.
No.
I think they were a couple of months apart. So I don't think they're related, but they could be. You never know. You know, the floorboards creaking might have turned into a sleep paralysis demon. But, you know.
Hey, maybe my chair almost giving way during your story there. It will cause people to...
it's behind me.
I honestly think I'm going to have that, to be honest.
Yeah. So, yeah. That happened. I don't know whether I passed out, whether I was actually asleep at the time, but I know that I did go through sleep paralysis. I did, like, before I started opening my eyes, though, I did hear things walking. I don't know whether that sort of intertwines with any of yours. I could still, or felt that there was something walking around the room. Even though I had the blood pressure in there and I could hardly hear anything, for some reason I just felt that something was walking around. There was something there. And again, this is like 10 years ago now, but it's still scary. And the reason why I kind of think it's a debunk and that it's just a hallucination is a few years later when I was working at beach, as we were discussing earlier, Ryan.
Yep.
I stopped over at a mate's house that I worked with because we finished late one night and decided to go out drinking. I remember him coming into the spare room where I was sleeping, and I was going through sleep paralysis with my eyes open. He came into the room and I saw fire in his eyes.
Okay.
And he thought I was asleep, so he left the room. But I saw fire in his eyes, but I wasn't scared because I knew it was. And shout out to you, Truman, if you're listening. Shout out, mate. But I could see flames in his eyes. But it was a dark room, and I could only make out his silhouette. But where his eyes would be, there was fire. So that's why I think it's a hallucination more than what I do, that it's a demon that sort of feeds on your dreams and things.
Yeah. To join that conversation, I'm going to post this link. It's to a indie game that I saw someone play. Don't Open Your Eyes, and it goes on about a figure, kind of like you're trying to get some sleep, and you can hear this demon kind of walking towards you. It's kind of like figureless to begin with, but then slowly, as the conversation goes on, develops features like an eye, mouth, arms, stuff like that. And it just kind of tied in with you saying that, this shadowy figure was getting closer and closer. Do you know if it ever spoke to you, or is it just walking towards you?
The main sort of thing was that it was on my chest, and
Right.
I couldn't hear anything. I had immense pressure on my chest, like huge. It felt like I couldn't breathe. But again, with the static noise or the blood pressure noise or whatever it was that was going off, that's all I could hear. So I don't know whether anything spoke to me. It could have done if it was real, but I wouldn't have been able to hear it, so I can't answer that question. Sorry, I've cooked you.
No,
again.
Damn it. No, that's fine. But yeah, as I say, the stories reminded me of this particular indie game. I mean, I recommend everyone check it out because it is kind of like a surreal experience. I think it's like 30 minutes to an hour as far as gameplay wise goes. But it's like following dialogue and stuff. But yeah, you're trying to sleep, your door's open, and then suddenly you hear this demon kind of walking towards you. You can't move, and it's demanding that you open your eyes. To actually have a look at it. Obviously, if you look at it, it'll basically kill you. But it's just one of them surreal experiences, really. Which maybe the creator of that indie game went through himself. Maybe that just kind of goes on that it's a shared experience.
Is there a sort of if it is sort of demons or some sort of spirit? Is there any sort of discussion on like what the purpose of that demon is? Normally these things have like not roles, but this just seems to be like, there are these demons that like fuck with you in your sleep, sorry language, that mess with you in your sleep, because with sleep paralysis, like there's no like I don't like why they just like to stress you when you're waking up, and that's it. Normally they're attached, like spirits tend to be attached to something or can be explained that they're there because of this. This is why I find it odd that it seems to be a spooky wookie and not just a scientific thing.
I think it's somewhere in between. But I know that there's I can't remember what it's called now, but there is a Japanese cryptid or spirit or demon that's meant to be a dream eater. I think a Pokemon move was named after it.
Yeah. It's Haunter and stuff, Dream Eater, literally called Dream Eater.
But the the sort of I don't know why I said I think there is. I know there is. I'm a proper nerd. I'm just trying not to sound like one. But there is sort of the theory that it paralyzes you as it's eating your dream, and sometimes you wake up from it eating your dream, and that's why you're paralyzed and you can see it.
Right. And that's why they're always right up by your face.
But it stalks you to start with anyway.
So it's kind of sussing you out type of deal.
Yeah, I can't believe like you asked that question. I didn't research that one thing. Again, I've got little snippets of knowledge for spooky wooky stuff.
Yeah.
But I always research the wrong thing.
This is why I'm glad to be part of this, though, isn't it? Because like it's not as if you're fully sold by it. So I'm not going to get some sort of answer with an agenda to recruit people to your way of thinking. And I like to think that I ask better questions. I could sit and research this on the internet all I want. But if I just ask a simple question, my understanding or my viewpoint on it might just be widened so much more by a quick answer rather than 3 hours of YouTubing. Or, an hour on Wikipedia or some forum somewhere. Don't know.
As I say, don't go down the YouTube hole because you get some weird places.
I love those holes though. I do.
Some people even end up on my channel and start listening to these podcasts.
That's about the 4th hour, to be honest, mate.
But yeah, that obviously with mythology and lore behind it and actual even scientific definitions on what you're experiencing. Clearly there's something that lots of people have gone through, and they've gone through such similar experiences that it can't be a coincidence. So touching back on the topic where I asked you, do you think you're attaching your sort of situation to ours because it makes sense?
Well, yeah, but another thing now just makes sense because you mentioned dreams now. Dreams weren't mentioned in any of this. Like I say, I've not done any research into it other than just listen to what you say about it. But when it started, and I can remember, I was living in Dagenham in Essex, and these for a couple of weeks, it got to the point where I struggled to sleep, and my family were getting a little bit concerned. And it stood out because my uncle, who I got on with, who lived in Nottingham at the time, he was also for about a week shorter than I was struggling to sleep as well from odd dreams. But I remember as a kid having these weird dreams where it's like I was in just a hugely vast space, almost like internal space, not an outside space, but it was all completely and utterly pristine white. And it's there were other people in the space, but they were the right size relative. So say I was just in my bedroom, and I was a speck, but for some reason or another, I was just in the corner, and I couldn't move from the corner. You know what I mean? It's an odd one to explain, and I think that was just it. I never really had a dream where it was made up of something that I'd not quite sort of had much comprehension of until then. And then from that point onwards, my dreams started getting a bit sort of out there, as dreams can be. But before then, all my dreams are sort of like a first person retelling of like something I'd already been through, or some sort of variation of that. From that point onwards, dreams sort of could get into first and third person at the same time, if that makes sense. I was myself as that tiny, minute nothingness, but at the same time, I was able to witness myself as that, but all from the same perspective. I don't know how to put it into words.
I mean, it in a sense, I think that to say dreams like the brain, those kind of dreams, the brain's trying to protect you in a way. So it's kind of putting a retelling on the experiences you've had, which may be, say, negative or positive, and then it just jumbles them up and puts them in a weird way. It's like subconscious and stuff like that. So that's what I personally feel. It's like I had dream. I know we're going on the topic of dreams and moving away from sleep paralysis a little bit now.
Sorry.
But yeah, so I had a dream ages ago where it was like I was being chased by some cloud or something, like a really dark cloud. It's just that image. Kind
Ryan, were you vaping
in my
behind
head.
him?
Sorry.
Were you vaping behind him?
See, he was chasing me down in my dreams even back then.
Some sick cloud chasing him. No,
But
keep the vape away.
Sorry.
Not the vape. It smells gross. It's not blueberry or strawberry. Keep it away. Anyway,
No, it
so,
smells mango.
Is that mango? Yeah. There's that plug. There you go. Done.
I gave you the opportunity and you flopped again. You just laughed. I was like, okay, it's my time.
Sorry.
but yeah, so this gigantic vape cloud was chasing me down the stairs in slow motion. But if it ever caught me, for whatever reason, it would just teleport me to this random place where this gigantic screen, this gigantic monster was on the screen, just trying to grab me. It was, I don't even know why I was dreaming like nightmares like that, but for something in my life must have, prompted that response. And I think sleep paralysis demons, going back onto topic, because they all seem quite similar, like a shadowy figure, demon, stuff like that. And I think people are scared of the dark as a natural response. People are scared of shadows and all that stuff and things you can't see. So I think, in a way, that's why that particular image is shared. I don't know what anyone else thinks on that, but I think that's probably why most people seem to have similar experiences when it comes to sleep paralysis demons.
Well, it goes from quite back. I mean, I'm looking at art from 1700s regarding it, and it's depicting all that sort of old school theatrical demon type stuff. Back then, things were that way a bit more, by the grace of God and demons and devils and such.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they used to sort of justify or sort of keep their mind sane. Well, this is what it is. Now I can sort of move forward because I have an understanding of it. And we've just been left with that when the demon side of it comes in. But maybe it is like I suppose is there any harm come to anybody as a result of?
It's probably more psychological, isn't it? When you think about it,
think
it's just
if people come
ingrained.
into harm, we might have tried to science it a little bit more. But because they're not, sort of, there's been no further explanation, or we've not done much to sort of brush away that old school thought or way of thinking on it that sort of medical conditions tend to these days. But because it's not really a condition, shall we say, because it's not causing any harm, we've just left people to just keep thinking demons on them now.
There's probably a psychology reason for these kind of things happening, and there's probably research into that kind of stuff, even if people haven't been harmed by it, because it's a phenomenon that many people experience at some point in their lives for one reason or another. So there probably is, some research behind it, probably to say dreams and paralysis and stuff like that. Because I mean, what is it? During your sleep cycles, there is a point where you literally can't move because most of your body shuts down. REM, yeah. And I think during rapid eye movement, that's when you tend to experience these phenomenon.
This REM sleep stuff is, I know a little bit about it, but that is popping up more and more as I'm sort of looking at sleep paralysis.
So I had a quick look while you were talking. So in Japanese culture, sleep paralysis is referred to as kanashibari.
Ooh.
Kanashibari. Nani?
I didn't know if we're allowed to do that.
We're all weeps here, so that's fine.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's I don't think that's the one that I'm referring to as the one that's a dream eater, but the fact that it's all over East Asia, it's in Europe, Southeast Asia, South Asia, Middle East and Western Asia, Africa, Europe, and Americas. So it's a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
Sleep
Everywhere, yeah,
paralysis.
pretty much.
So it's not just we're English
So
and
isn't
we
it
have
just
this thing.
part of what humans do then? Is it
Yeah.
a thing?
Yeah,
Isn't it just?
I think so. Yeah.
I think the word paralysis has just got me a little bit, because like I said before, you guys mentioned sleep paralysis demons. I just thought that's just something I do. You know, I got diabetes, so my body does weird stuff. Never mind. But
Yeah.
and then I thought, wait a second, it could be this. But now, after looking into it a bit, I'm thinking this just might be some part of the sleep process that certain people are a little bit more conscious of than others, isn't it? I mean, you can't creep up on some people while they're sleeping, no matter how hard you try. And then there are other people you can drop a brick on there, and they're not even going to wake up.
Exactly. It just depends on the person. But I mean, I guess from your description there, I think cats are always alert. There's never really a time when they're not alert, even when they're sleeping. So they're always kind of got a sixth sense around them.
Yeah. And look how they react when you do manage to creep up on them. Like they literally start levitating.
Yeah.
So obviously, I know. I think all mammals have REM anyway. I'm not sure if every creature on the planet goes through REM. I know probably fish don't, because they only sleep for like microseconds throughout the day. But REM's the stage for when you're actually, where they think you're dreaming.
Yeah.
So that could tie into the hallucinations that we're thinking of. If you are awake whilst going through REM or some stage in between, you could be, how would I say it? Awake dreaming.
Yeah.
Which is a hallucination. When you hallucinate, it's not a relative thing. It's an interdimensional thing.
So do you still have many experiences of this like now?
No.
Not
The last one I had was about 4 or 5 years ago.
That's about the time I had one, yeah.
When I was going through a stressful time with a job that I was in, and Ellis was next to me in bed, and I managed to hyperventilate. I managed to control my breathing to a point where I could wake her up to push me, to give me that jolt to wake up and my body to start moving, and it worked. And since that point, since I found a way to combat it, I didn't get stressed out about going to sleep, and haven't gone through it since.
Yeah. Nice recovery on that one.
I was going to say it's similar to sort of coping or resolving some sort of psychological problems, is just to sort of not even an understanding, just an acceptance of it, and then it just goes away, which is sort of what I was thinking my issues with sleeping might be. I was hoping that this might have given me that understanding I needed to stop it, but I don't think so. After this little discussion, I'm getting further away from it. I was hopeful at the start, but I'm just like, no, I don't think this is the one.
Welcome to life.
But yeah, I was just thinking, how long? Because I feel that I take an exceptionally long time to fall asleep compared to absolutely anybody I have falling asleep with. I was just going to ask if because I literally have to lie there with my eyes closed, and I have to consciously keep my eyes closed. Otherwise, I will never fall asleep.
Honestly, I'm not trying to plug myself here, but the way that I combated insomnia was listening to creepypastas while I was falling asleep. I just put my headphones in and listen to them. So you don't have to listen to mine.
Yeah.
But I'd appreciate if you did. I need them views. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Gotta get the views.
You told me I got you, I made you that intro.
Let's you're using me to plug yourself more and more. I'm plugging myself.
I'm plugging myself on my own video.
I suppose. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Isn't your whole video is a plug? It's a plug squared. Right.
It's a plugception. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a 3-pronged plug for the UK only.
And one of those plugs you don't even need.
Yeah, I was good.
Big shout out to Craig for recording this. Big shout out.
Craig, you've got this, buddy, with your robotic voice and scaring the crap out of us when you first joined.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
Recording in 3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh!
So yeah, I'll put a link in the description to this Discord recorder if it's any good. If not, then bye, Craig.
Man. Give him a listen. But
See
I
you
find
next
that
Tuesday.
I can't fall asleep if I'm listening to anything. If my eyes are open, it doesn't matter how tired I may actually be, unless I make that conscious decision to keep my eyes closed so I can just be unaware of when it is I slip into sleep. I think it's the problem. Because when I'm doing that sort of, I'm watching, last time it's happened, I was literally watching Power Rangers on Netflix. And you do the whole head noddy sleepy thing. And as soon as I'm aware I'm doing that, back awake, like everything refreshes for me, my mind, and I was awake again. So I just have to make a conscious decision to go to bed, lie down, keep my eyes closed. And I don't know if that's like a normal thing.
Yeah, it can be, not in like a long-term sense, but some people do suffer with insomnia, and clearly you've got some form of it. But I don't watch the Sleepypastas because there's nothing to watch. I just put my phone upside down on the desk. I have my Bluetooth headphones in now. Before I had the wired ones and nearly strangled myself multiple times, but we'll not go there. Don't have wired headphones in while you sleep, kids, because you will die. The sleep paralysis demon does not like wired headphones, and it will strangle you with them. No,
he wants to listen to those tunes.
It's a big hazard, and it's not worth it. But no, I've got Bluetooth headphones now, so I'm a bit safer. I just have one in, obviously, because it hurts your ears if you're laying on it with a headphone in.
Yep, obviously.
But, yeah, sometimes I wake up on that side and I have an awful earache. But again, this is nearly every night that I do this. It's like my routine now. Just pop a headphone in, bang on a creepypasta, let it autoplay, and then usually halfway through the story, like even a 15-minute one, it takes me about 7 minutes to just drop off. And then I wake up a few hours later with like creepypasta number 6 on, and just turn my phone off and tap my headphone out, and then I just fall back asleep straight away. So maybe try that. To my creepypastas. Maybe try that, yeah.
I give her a blast. So, I mean, falling asleep to scary stories doesn't seem to be like a good choice for my mental health. I easily get carried away with things.
Yeah, it really.
But I'll definitely give it a try.
It does sound counterproductive, but the reason that I created this channel, not for the podcast, but for the creepypastas, was just so I could give back.
Yeah, man. I'll give it a blast. Definitely worth a try.
My voice will put people to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not in that way, you sick.
So, you ready for some sleep?
I think pretty much we've drawn all the blood out of this stone. So I think we can close it there, don't you guys?
I think so. I mean, we've been talking about it for 48 minutes, so I think we can definitely probably call it up. But obviously, that's your call.
No, I know it's my call, and I will make that call now. Thank you, First Commander.
No problem, Chief.
So I hope you've enjoyed me finally getting Jordan and Ryan together. Most of you probably don't even give a crap, but I've been trying to get this to happen for 5 podcasts now, so appreciate the grind.
Hashtag podcast goals.
Podcast goals, spooky wookie trademark, all that good stuff.
So to all those that have made it this far, thank you very much for listening to the latest in the Sleepy Talk podcast. And I'll sign off now, and hope you have a wonderful life.
Bye. Have a beautiful life.
Sleep well, everybody. Sleep well.
Sleep well with those demons over you.
Some people might with that.
Yeah, I know.
I love your intro, outro voice. I do. Like, as soon as I knew you would, like, because you never really announced, like, okay, I'm gonna, like you normally do, I'm gonna do the outro now.